For those of you that are familiar with the inner workings of that dank and deadly place known only as the SCP Foundation, you'll know that pretty much anything and everything that involves the titular SCP-096 is also known as a very, very bad thing. Well, the Shy Guy has managed to muster a pretty hefty following thanks to his horrifying shenanigans, an entire series of containment sites that have passed him from pillar to post, shipping him more regularly than Malfoy and Harry, hoping never to accidentally catch his eye before dropping him on the next unassuming Foundation researcher as their unsolvable problem to solve. But in this hypothetical scenario, it's happened again. SCP-096 has escaped, and this time, it's worse than ever. Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch, as today, we curiously ask the question, what if SCP-096 escaped? Roll the clip.
What's happening here? Mate!
Give it a
Tell us what's happening in
We're
here.
leaving!
Is he gonna help us?
For the curious amongst you, that clip was from the awesome 2011 Australian found footage horror, The Tunnel, and it's probably the closest visual depiction of how quickly and unequivocally unstoppable SCP-096 truly is. Plus, also for those of you familiar with just exactly how SCP-096 hunts down its prey, then you'll realize the dangers of any photorealistic depiction of this particular anomalous entity. I'm just trying to keep you safe, guys. Trying being the definitive word. For those of you that don't know anything about SCP-096 or even the wider SCP Foundation for that matter, now would be high time to head over to our playlist and check out our feature video on the Shy Guy himself. But for those of you that haven't, let's give you guys a quick rundown on the inner mechanics of one of the most terrifying entities under the Foundation's containment. Now, also it's important to note that in certain canons, SCP-096 was actually killed under orders of the O5 Council, but for the sake of this hypothetical video, obviously we have to disregard certain parameters. In that case, don't worry guys, he's still alive and kicking. Oh, no. As the record states, SCP-096 is a Euclid-class humanoid entity that measures approximately 2.38 meters in height, which exhibits very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of its physical formation suggesting mild malnutrition. Its arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of its body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. On top of that, its skin is mostly devoid of any kind of pigmentation, and after all that, it's pretty safe to say that SCP-096 isn't exactly easy on the eyes. But eyes are a stark reality for this anomalous entity because it has one particular function that quickly puts an end to any and every visual critic that SCP-096 has ever had. The real kicker is, whenever someone views SCP-096's face, be it directly via video recording or even a photograph, then it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will then cover its face with its hands, begin screaming, crying and babbling incoherently. After a few short minutes, the person that has inadvertently viewed the entity will then be designated SCP-096-1, and the creature will rapidly commence movement towards their location. At this point, SCP-096 becomes unstoppable, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word. So much so that its victims have even been reached whilst traveling in a commercial airliner 30,000 feet above the ground or at the bottom of the ocean. In fact, no known material or method can impede the progress of SCP-096, and because of that, it has a 100% kill rate, with every and all of its victims being efficiently and completely consumed by the creature. Now, it's safe to say that the Shy Guy has been a metaphorical thorn in the Foundation's side, and historically, they've been at a complete dead end in terms of solving this horrifying creature's design. Under a containment breach, the Foundation's only hope has been to quickly deploy personnel to what they believe to be the target's location, where they will then round up any and all nearby civilians, wrap them in a blindfold, and hope for the best. They then wait for another capable mobile task force to deploy on the scene, where they hope that SCP-096 is distracted enough to slip a bag over its head. It's safe to say that this method of negation hasn't exactly had a very high success rate. But what do we do? Because right now, under this hypothetical situation, you, your best friend, your Aunt Sally, the guy who lives at the end of the street, whoever, it does not matter. They've been looking through old photographs of their trip to the Swiss Alps when in the corner of a certain breathtaking vista, they noticed a few out-of-place pixels that sort of look like some strange, skinny creature. Well, unfortunately for them, the clock's ticking because without realizing, they've just seen SCP-096 and their day is about to get considerably shorter. Now, let's say that the Foundation aren't expecting a breach of this magnitude, and before we know it, the call goes over the radio and a code Lima is declared. That's bad, by the way. Geography is incredibly important in this hypothetical situation. So let's say for maximum calamity, SCP-096's target is located on a separate continent. Let's say that the creature breaches containment in the United States, and our unassuming victim is in Germany with no idea about what chain of events that they've just kicked off. As the record states, 096's speed of movement has varied from 35 km per hour to 900 km per hour, but in experiment 096-1, the creature travelled off the coast of Western Australia to the Tonga Trench in a little over an hour. That's a speed of roughly 3,000 km per hour. It's safe to assume at that speed 096 would ravage their way across the United States, hell-bent for the Atlantic Ocean, and at that unholy trajectory, hopefully it would diminish any kind of visual exposure. Hopefully. Once the creature hits the ocean though, that's a bit of breathing room for the Foundation to deploy some kind of preventative method, as 096 will be travelling through the ocean for a little over 2 hours. Thankfully, the Shy Guy is strapped with a geolocation collar at all times, and the Foundation could track the creature's target destination via satellite, moving the nearest Foundation personnel in place. But how does the Foundation ever hope to completely evacuate the best part of Western Europe before SCP-096 gets there? Now, in all likelihood, the creature would only have to travel through France before it makes its way into Germany, but both countries take up the largest landmass in the whole of Europe, with some of the most densely populated civilian sectors in the world. Visual exposure of the creature would be absolutely devastating, unless, of course, the Foundation deployed the one tactic that they've always managed to avoid. Picture this: you're going about your day, you're on your way to work or you're out shopping with a friend, when suddenly every screen in your surrounding vicinity starts playing the same tone, an emergency broadcast. Your phone starts vibrating with an emergency response note, a public service announcement. It says, to ensure your own survival, reach a safe location. Close your eyes, keep them shut, do not open them until further instruction. What would you do? Would you keep them shut? Would you think it was some bizarre out-of-place April Fool's joke from the government? Or would you heed their warning, stop what you're doing and close your eyes? The fact of the matter is, this is exactly why SCP-096 is so damn dangerous. It's almost the most uncontainable entity in the Foundation's containment, and the reason why they fear an XK-class extinction event involving 096 so much. It's because once it's out, kicking off a chain reaction that could potentially spell the deaths of thousands upon thousands of innocent bystanders. Vision is its weapon, and unfortunately for us, we live in the most visually accessible age ever known. So, if the call came over to close your eyes in an effort to ensure your own survival, would you? Or would you risk taking a peek? Well, there we have it, our start warning sign for what to do if SCP-096 ever escaped. What do you guys think? Would you keep your eyes closed? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Before we depart from today's video though, if you're on a particularly anomalous SCP binge, make sure to check out our recent SCP-based playlist where you can dive down the rabbit hole of all our hypothetical shenanigans. On that note though, cheers for sticking around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just Life's Biggest Questions in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.